Jeff Bridges, Chris Hemsworth, John Hamm. What could go wrong?
God or no God, red or black.
I've done horrible things.
So's everybody. Shit happens. Get the whiskey.
Bad Times at the El Royale. This is an interesting film. I saw like half a commercial and I was interested and I wanted to go see it. I thought this is a different movie. This is something that you don't usually get to see a lot of days. Boy, was I right. Let's get into it. We've got a star-studded cast here. We got a packed cast. I wonder how much this cost to make. First off, let's start with Jeff Bridges. The man gets better with age. I love him in this movie. He does phenomenal. This is right up his alley. I know he said he wanted to do this movie because he liked the script so much. I can totally see that happening. So, Jeff, fantastic job. Then we've got John Hamm, who does his typical John Hamm, suave, silver tongue, getting his way through things by talking to him. John Hamm does really good in this movie. I think he's a little underused, which when you see this movie, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. We got Dakota Johnson, who I think this might be, I could be wrong, this might be her first film after doing all of the 50 Shades of Grey movies. I think this might be her first role outside of those, or at least after them. She does okay. I wasn't super into her performance / character. I think her storyline, which we'll get into, we'll just get into it now. Chris Hemsworth is also in this movie. I do not like his character at all. I think they really use Chris Hemsworth in the wrong way. I know they're trying to tap into his comedic value, which he has really started to use since Thor Ragnarok, but man, I really don't like what they did with him in this movie, and Dakota Johnson is directly tied to his character, and so she does good. I mean, she does a great job, but I just don't like her character, and I don't really know who else would have done better. It's just that I wasn't huge into her and Chris Hemsworth in this movie. But she's okay. I hope she gets more gigs. Going on to Chris Hemsworth, do not like him at all in this movie. When he comes into this movie, it visibly gets worse. Not because of his performance, but just because of the script, what his character is. His character is just lame. We'll get into it later. We have Nick Offerman, who is in this movie. I'm really glad to see him in movies. I know he's kind of selective about what he does. He doesn't have a whole lot of screen time. He's more of like a little bit of a cameo in this movie. But when I saw him, I was like, oh, wait, is that Nick Offerman? I think that is. And sure enough, when the credits roll up, it was him. So really cool to see him in this movie. The big surprise, I think, is Louis Pullman. He is the hospitality bellboy in this movie for the hotel. He is phenomenal in this movie. He looks just like Tom Holland, which I could not get over. He looks just like Tom Holland. They should both play something. You could do something with them both in a movie. Maybe someone needs to get on that. There's also Cynthia Erivo. She's in this movie. I didn't notice her from anything else. I don't know if this is her debut or not. I haven't really seen her in anything else. She sings a lot in this movie, and her vocals are phenomenal. But she sings way too much in this movie. There's a scene with John Hamm where she sings, it feels like for like 7 or 8 minutes, and it's just her singing. And which would be cool in like a singing movie, but like, I don't know. Like, I understand what the purpose of it was. Like, it was a part of her character, who she is, why she's there, what she's looking for. That's cool. Could have used with way less singing in this movie. Maybe if it, like, every single time she sang, it wasn't like 5 minutes long. And then finally we have the director, Drew Goddard. The last movie he directed was Cabin in the Woods, which I have seen parts of on TV. Not a huge horror guy, but he also was producers in The Martian and Cloverfield. So he's got some good movies under his belt. He also wrote this movie, which I'm not huge into. Let's just start off. The movie, this is a fun and different movie. It's very unconventional in the way it goes through its story progression. There's a mystery going about it. It's slowly, the first like 20 to 30 minutes of this movie are so good. I was so into it. It's like, oh man, this is great. It's just slowly unraveling this mystery in front of you. There's layers and layers. You're meeting all these characters. They're meeting each other for the first time. There's like this mystery. Like, what is this hotel? What's so weird about this hotel? Why are all these people have some weirdness to them? Reminds me a lot of The Hateful Eight. If you like that movie, you're gonna like this movie. I don't think it's quite as good as The Hateful Eight. What's so cool about this movie is that it takes how it works is that you see it through other people's perspective. So it'll lead up to a certain point, looking through one person's eyes, and then something will happen, some cool, crazy thing will happen, and then it'll go back in time to another person's perspective, leading up to that moment. And then it springs on. And so basically the movie is cut up into like 5 or 6 different segments from different people's points of view, which I really like. I think that's super cool. Up until Chris Hemsworth comes in this movie. The final act in this movie is really a bummer. This movie was so good. The first like 90 minutes, awesome. Building up tension. We're learning all these things about all these people. Stuff starts going down. People start getting killed. It's very exciting. And then they keep building up, mentioning this Chris Hemsworth character. And then he finally shows up. And man, is it like the biggest buzzkill to any movie I've seen recently. It's not because Chris Hemsworth does a bad job. It's just his character. The person Drew Goddard wrote into this movie is just lame. Charles Manson type of like cult leader. And he's like super sexualized. Like the man's abs, which look phenomenal, are just out in this entire movie. He's got like a 12-pack going on, which is okay. Like there's like some weird stuff about like him sleeping with people that you don't really know their age. When Chris Hemsworth comes in, they throw away all of what was happening in the last what was making the last 90 minutes of the movie cool. It was so cool. I was so in. And then Chris Hemsworth shows up, and it just kind of all goes out the window. We get muddled in this plot, and it kind of feels like some forced like exposition 2 hours into the movie. And I just wasn't thrilled about it. I didn't love it. It kind of brought the movie down for me. So overall, I'm a little conflicted because I really, really enjoyed what this movie was trying to do, but I think it bit itself at the end. I'm going to have to go with a 7 out of 10 for Bad Times at the El Royale. Might be a little high. I was stuck between that and like a 6.5, but like what's really half a point of a difference? I'll give it benefit of the doubt. I think it did some cool things. 7 out of 10. Do you need to go see this in theaters? No. When I came out, I thought yes, but thinking more about it, this might be better as like a, you know when you're on Netflix late at night and you're just scrolling through movies? This is one of those great late night Netflix finds. You're like, oh, Bad Times at El Royale. I heard that was all right. And you watch it and you'll be pleasantly surprised when you've forgotten about it. You need to rush out and go see it in the theaters. I'd save your money. Go see A Star is Born or wait for some of the other movies coming out here soon. That was my review of Bad Times at El Royale. Love to hear what you think. Some of my friends really, really, really hated this movie. I think I liked it a little bit more than them, but I wasn't in love with it. So that's what I have to say. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more reviews.
First time at the El Royale?
You have the option to stay in either California or Nevada.
I always wanted to stay in the honeymoon suite, even though I'm not currently on